Diba? We have ChatGPT and Grok in Black Shores, but why is he so pressed about a fucking motor? Let's go. We're going to react this video. Sabi nila na nabasa ko din sa Twitter kanina nag-scroll ako. Nagdo-doom post daw siya about sa Wuthering Waves exploration. And personally, gusto ko yung update as someone na mahilig sa motor. And parang gusto din natin ng bago, 'di ba? Hindi yung puro lakad lang, puro lipad lang. But yeah, I'm excited sa bagong exploration. Siya hindi daw. But let's go. I think full screen na lang ako dito. Yeah, teka lang ah. Okay. So,
Wuthering Waves game. I actually think it's a very what I'm saying.
Before we continue, napanood nyo ba to? Like, ano thoughts nyo dito? You driving on the wrong side of the road, innit? Di ka win. Ang thick ng accent niya. I don't know if ano siya. Australian or ano ba siya? English. Tourist. Oh shit.
Because it's totally
Oh,
subjective,
Brit. Okay.
so you might wholly disagree
Parang
with me,
ano, no?
okay?
Parang
I'm not trying to make
Australian,
objective
no?
statements about the game
I
here.
don't know.
That being said, shall we get into what I'm talking about? Obviously, the 3.0 live stream happened today, and I did go through and watch like the majority of it on stream. And I want to say there's lots of positives, right? I do like the look of the things they're adding to the combat. I think some of the new weapons, the standard weapons for the area, look really cool as well. I think
Okay.
a lot of the echoes look really cool. Visually, again, Wuthering Waves pretty much killing all the design. Although I do have some issues with some design choices, but visually the game looks gorgeous. The character.
Alam nyo ng ano, no? Alam nyo ng may sobrang daming negative na sasabihin kapag may positive sa una. Alam nyo na, yung parang ano, parang ano muna, imamassage siya muna tapos bubugbugin ka. Ganon.
His animations look brilliant. Mournier, I think it is. I really like the look of her. I'm going to talk about one of the other characters that I'm not such a big fan of, which we'll get into in a second. I like the look of the new combat events. I think the driving is cool, but also I've got some issues that I want to talk about that as well. And they're like big parts of my criticisms because it goes into a lot of design stuff. The hologram stuff looks kind of cool. You know, they're adding a lot of things that I think are definitely positives for the new patch, right? They're doing different things as well. And I love to see that. They're trying different things, and I'm a big fan of that, okay? So, now we've got that out of the way, right? I just want to, like, start going on to some of the stuff that I'm not maybe such a big fan of. But before we do that, so you know that I'm not wholeheartedly disliking this across the board. It's a few things that I've got issue with, and I think they're quite big things for me, right? But before we do that, can we just have a look at this here? Like, we've got this, like, geographic video that they took from the live stream, right? And it's basically just showing off some of the environmental stuff. And this, it looks really nice, right? I love the colours, I love the design, the whole thing looks pretty nice. I'm a fan of it. This area looks gorgeous. This area, again, looks absolutely stunning. This looks beautiful. Like, we've got these salt pools. Like, it looks really cool. I'm a big fan of this, right? Like, a lot of this looks really dope. I do really like this, like, orbital lift thing they've got in the game where you can drive up to the orbital station that's in space, which is really cool, actually. I really do like that. But that being said, I suppose let's get on to, and this as well, this almost looks like Phantasy Star Online, kind of. It gives me that vibes. The game gives me a few different vibes from different stuff. Some maybe not so positive. Well, not negative in a vacuum, but negative when you attach it to Wuthering Waves. And I'll explain that in a second. So I guess, let me start with some of the visual elements.
Parang di nakaka-catch up ko yung utak ko. Kasi sa accent niya. And naka 1.25 pa. So, pasensya if may mamimiss ako.
This is not a negative design, okay? This looks fine. It looks good. But I don't think it looks like Wuthering Waves for me, okay? I've just got to say that. Now, you might disagree. This, to me, looks like something that... It looks like it's straight out of Tower of Fantasy. I've got to be honest. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because I don't have the same visceral reaction a lot of people have to Tower of Fantasy, right? But this doesn't look like Wuthering Waves to me. It just doesn't seem to fit with the whole vibe that the game has. Personally, for me, now I know tonal changes happen. It's a live service game. But I just want to put that in. Like, this image, it just doesn't vibe with me as Wuthering Waves. This, like I say, looks like something straight out of Tower of Fantasy. Alright? I just
Wait. Sabi niya, parang hindi daw Wuwa. Hindi daw vibe.
want to add that in there.
Sige.
So, again, this here looks okay, but again, for me, it just doesn't really look like Wuthering Waves, if you will, right? And this is like an outside version of the town here that we
Wait,
just
ano
saw.
yung issue niya? Bakit hindi daw parang... Yeah, same. Pero di niya naman in-explain, di ba? Kung bakit this doesn't look like Wuwa. Ulit nga. Am I missing something na sinabi niya?
It just doesn't seem to fit with the whole vibe that the game has. Personally, for me, now I know tonal changes happen.
Is it like the same nung sinasabi ng mga tourist na dapat sinasabing post-apocalyptic, dapat grayish? Or di lang siya aware sa lore kasi nag-quit siya sa 2.2? Meron nga tayong Renasita eh. I mean, naanabutan niya naman yung Renasita, no? But I don't get the issue.
It's a live service game, but I just want to put that in. Like this image, it just doesn't vibe with me as Wuthering Waves. This, like say, looks like
It doesn't vibe with me. So, ano lang, opinion niya lang, ganun. Yun yung mga nagdo-doom post about Wuwa nung 1.0 na bakit daw Rinasita is very colorful, post-apocalyptic naman daw. Iba-iba kasi yung ano ng post-apocalyptic, 'di ba? Kasi yung lament sa Rinasita is different. It's dark tide. If ano kayo ng lore, you know kung ano yung dark tide is not destruction all the way. Nasa tao, 'di ba? But sige kuya.
something straight out of Terra Fantasy. All right, I just want to add that
Tourist
in there.
ka nga, I think.
So again, this here looks okay, but again, for me, it just doesn't really look.
Yeah,
like
I think yun yung
Wuthering Waves,
iniisip
if
na
you will,
yung
right?
Portal
And this is
Glacier
like
pa rin.
an outside version of the town here that we've just saw.
Tourist.
Again, there's a lot of things that kind of give me like this Sonic kind of world vibe, which again looks fine,
Vibe.
but doesn't look like Wuthering Waves to me, right? And again, you know, like you look at stuff like this, they've added in a lot of stuff that like are cool, but at the same time kind of reduce some of the actual reason for having open world games, and for having open world games is to have a scope and scale that makes you want to explore them, right? And I believe we're seeing a lot of things being added into Wuthering Waves now that kind of reduces. Really cool. We've got a bike, right, that allows us to explore the world that we've got in the game. Really cool. The fact that everybody
But parang may issue siya doon sa teleportation.
gets it, awesome. It's not like behind characters. I love to see it, right? And the bike design itself actually looks kind of cool. And I like that you can customize it and all that sort of. It would be cool if they had in like not just livery customization, but like actual frame customization. That'd be really cool, right? But that's kind of where my positives around the bike end. Apart from, I will say, I was a little bit worried about the potential physics of the bike when you're riding around. That's my parrot in the background, if you can hear him. About the physics of the bike when you're riding around, right? And I was a little bit worried about them.
Yeah,
I think those
iba-iba
worries
per
have been put to rest, because when the
per
bike's
region.
driving around, it actually, not that big, it actually,
True.
where have we got it?
Halatang
We've got a little
hindi
bit of
niya alam
footage
yung
here.
lore eh.
I think it might have. Here we go. We can see a little bit here. It looks fine, right? The bike actually looks decent when it's riding around, and I kind of like it. It looks okay,
Decent daw, payag kayo dyan?
and it looks cool here as well, right? And the radio, awesome. Love to see that. That's really cool. And you've got this first person view and the cinematic view, and you can take your waifus on it. We've got all the customization and stuff, right? But again, that's kind of where my positives for that end, because my issue with it, if I can just find, I need to go back now. I need to go back. Let me just quickly find this here a second, guys, because this is kind of like where I've got a bit of a critique with the actual bike itself. And let me just find it. Okay, this was the part I was looking for, right? This is where one of my major criticisms starts to come into with the bike system, right? And it's one of the things I was talking about when I was talking about exploration in a game like Enfield, and just exploration in general. In a game where it's open world or semi-open world or whatever, I want to be encouraged to explore. And I feel like when you're given tools...
Ano ba yung sa Enfield? Ano ba exploration dun? Naka 2x ba to? 1.25. Masyado mabilis, no? Parang hindi nga makakip up yung utak ko eh. Pero yeah, 21 minutes kasi. Baka maubusan tayo ng time.
Tools that are based around momentum are good, because as the world gets bigger, it necessitates tools to make you get around the world faster, to make it feel less of a chore. But I think at the same time then, what you do is you make a world that gets bigger, becomes smaller because of these momentum tools, and then it kind of makes some of the things that make exploring fun go away. It removes them. And I think what they're doing here is kind of like a perfect example of them not just doing that, but going a step forward and saying, we kind of get that you don't like doing that as well, so we're just going to remove
About that, di naman mandatory yung motor, di ba? If you feel like na masyadong maliit pag nagmamotor ka, you can just walk. Pwede ka na di ba? You can just walk. If you feel, pwede ba? Parang parang yung skip button, if you like the story, magsiskip ka ba? Ganun lang, I think ganun lang kasimple siguro yun, no? O like, for example, ito maganda example. Sa Rinasita, 'di ba may mga teleport pa rin. Pero ako treat kong lumipad. Pero mas madali yung teleport. Pero gusto ko lumipad. You know? Get you ba? Say naman dito, kung ayaw mo magmotor, pwede ka maglakad. Kung ang gusto mo ng story, wag mong skip. Ganun lang siya. So, okay, sir.
Some people might like this, but for me, it just feels like the antithesis to the design of what I want to do in a game like this, right? And this is what we see here. Just check this out. You got this with the bike, which I think looks goofy as hell as well. I've got to say, right, the bike riding
Goofy though.
around looks cool. This shit looks goofy. I don't care what anybody says.
What's
But
up,
it's this
guys?
here that's the issue. So you can go into this view. I forgot what it's called now. They'll name it in a second. But you go into this view where it goes into a bullet time, and you can kind of look around, and you can see chests and pickups, right? And then they do that, and they go into the bullet time, and then they do this goofy shit here. That's so goofy. I'm sorry, it's so goofy. These barrel rolls and stuff.
Goofy though.
They don't look good, man. I'm sorry. It might be fun, right? But it just doesn't look good. And then we automatically gather the items. So now, in this game, that they're kind of removing a lot of the open world aspect through all these tools. They're removing the idea of actually the reason to explore in these games. It's not GTA. It doesn't give me hours of fun to just play in the sandbox, right? The environmental enjoyment, I guess, from games like this is going and getting all the little bits and pieces, and then probably doing a little bit of like fun stuff in the world. That's kind of like the smaller part of it. The majority of it is, you know, oh, there's something over there, let me go get it. And that's what I said I really liked about Enfield, because of it being a bit more grounded and kind of like a PlayStation 2 action adventure platformer. I like that. I don't like this because I don't like. What reason do I ever have to go over it now, other than if like story dictates I go over there? I've got no reason to go to these places at all now, because the things that I needed to go over there for, I've just instantly picked up by using this skill. So it kind of like,
Again, option. But like, di naman siguro tatanggalin nila kung gusto mo talaga mag-explore. Bababa ka. Tapos kunin mo yung chest. If wala na yung option na yun, I think yun siguro yung problem. Pero di ba pwede naman kung ayaw mo magmotor, punta ka sa area na to. And another input lang, as same sa akin na may work. Yung ginawa nila sa Rinasita, medyo ako nung una na, ay parang ang dali na lang, parang wala ng exploration. Pero hindi naman kasi puro chest lang yung exploration eh. Kasi yung sinasabi ng mga tao, ay yung mga chest, andyan na lang sa isang lugar, parang di na siya exciting. Pero yeah, for someone na may trabaho, and then gustong may pang pool, and then, makakuha ng character. And then kung may time ka na ma-explore, pwede ka nang mag-ikot-ikot sa area. Like, ang dami mo pwede makikita, hindi lang puro chest. Pero, yeah. Good thing dito may option ka. Yeah. Yun. Tsaka it's it looks good. It's cool. Kung ayaw mo nito, like, don't.
negate any reason for me to explore certain parts of the map. And I'm not a big fan of that. I'm genuinely not a big fan of that as well. And
Yeah, you're not a big fan, so please. Marami kaming may gusto dito. Yung reason bakit na-cluster yung chest is because yung feedback. Ano ba sabi sa feedback before?
another thing this adds as well, because you're able to do all of the things, ride around and grapple and barrel roll in the air on a motorbike, which I'm sorry just looks ridiculous for me personally for this game. I'm not saying those systems are bad, but in Wuthering Waves, it just doesn't feel like it fits to what the game originally was personally. And I get it, a lot of people say, dude, maybe this game's just not for you anymore, you're not the market. Fair enough, but it's a game I really like, so I'm going to offer criticisms and my viewpoints now and again, especially when poignant things happen. 3.0 is pretty poignant, 2.0 was brilliant, and 3.0 is happening now, so it's a big deal.
So parang pa rin siya nung first, ng Wuwa na parang, like the typical post-apocalyptic vibe. Parang yun pa rin yung iniisip niya about Wuwa. Kasi ayaw niya, I just realized. Ayaw niya ng technology, but grabe yung technology ng Wuwa. Nasira nang lang, guys. We have ChatGPT in Black Shores. We have Grok in Black Shores. Why is he so pressed about a fucking motorcycle? What? Diba? We have ChatGPT and Grok in Black Shores, but why is he so pressed about a fucking motor?
Don't want to talk about it. But adding in the bike and adding in all these tool sets, look at the map design here. Now, there is areas, that's why I preface the video showing you off different areas of the map that look gorgeous. And I'm sure there's areas that are more designed for when you're on foot and a bit more of the cinematic aspect that's connected to the story and the set pieces and stuff, right? But like, look at this here. The map just looks weird to me. Like, there's lots of footage of it kind of looking like a Sonic world. It looks like I'm playing a Sonic game. You know,
Sakto
all
lang
of
to.
this is
Magandang
designed
discussion
in
to.
such a way that I can ride the bike up
Oh,
these slopes, which sounds cool, but it
Wait,
just
sorry. What
doesn't
was that?
designed in such a way that I can ride the bike up these slopes, which sounds cool, but it just doesn't feel like an immersive action RPG to me. It looks like a stage that's designed around a gimmick, and that's cool because that gimmick can be fun, but it takes away this idea that I'm in this interesting, evolving world that like is trying to immerse me. It's like the game's like, well, we're in a world that's just funky and crazy because, you know, and environments are just going to shift and change, not because it makes sense to the world, just because it makes sense to the new utility that's in the world. And I don't like that. I don't like that personally. Now, does it mean it's going to be bad? No. It just means that you'll have
Lord, accurate
vacuous
kasi yung
spaces
team
within the
ng
map
map.
that there's nothing to.
Yeah, actually good point. Yeah, yung plan ng map na to is they're going to space. Maybe he should stay. Wait. Wag natin ano yung ibang game. Yan yung tipo ng tao na mag-request ipatanggal yung skip button.
Do because it's there for you to whip around in your motorbike, which you might have fun with. But overall, you end up going bigger and shallower, and then adding the fact that I can just literally suck up and hoover up all of these items through this tool on the bike. Now, I don't know how often you can do that or exactly how it works, but it seems like they're really reducing the need to go fetch things in this area. Now, that's probably going to be specific to this area, because we know Flight was Renacita, we know the bike's going to be this, who knows what we get next. But my worry is, which is not so much of a worry for me because I'm not playing the game anymore, but I want to come back to the game. My worry is that every time we go to a new area, there's a new utility because people crave this momentum-based movement, that the map is always going to be designed around that specific utility rather than just being a cool, interesting map. Now, is the parts of this that look cool and interesting? I think there is, Roy. Like, I must admit, it
My God. Parang balik tayo sa point po, no? Option! You want convenience. Diba? Option sa mga tao ng gusto ng convenience. Kung ayaw mo talaga, gusto mo maglakad, ano bang game na puro lakad? Death Stranding?
it will be probably really fun to maybe have PvP races on the bike and stuff, right? And some of the tracks that look dope from a gameplay perspective of racing along on these roads that are going into the air and kind of chicaning and going on the side looks cool. But when you think about it in the sense of the world, it looks ridiculous, right? Like, why on earth would the world be built like that? Like, why? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I suppose maybe I'm thinking about it a little too deep in that regard, right? But I can't help it. Like, if you're going to try and, immerse me in this world, it kind of like loses a little bit in that regard when you start doing this stuff. Like don't get me wrong, visually this stuff look cool, and it's cool that like other people are driving around on the road as well. I really like that. Like, it makes the world feel alive, right? But as I say again, it just feels like this sort of stuff to me, like, it's just kind of goofy, man. Like, come on.
Goofy
Like, even
though.
if you like the look of this, right, and you think this looks cool, you got to admit it looks kind of goofy in this supposedly post-apocalyptic world based around a lament, and
Ayan
we're
na
going
naman,
to
ayan na
have
naman.
highbrow storytelling in this game that people keep banging on about.
Di guess talaga yung lament, no? Jesus Christ.
And then we're grappling, hooking, and barrel rolling a motorbike through fucking midair on like elevated roads because it looks cool and
Hindi
it's
pwede
like,
ng
let's do
Wuwa.
Mario Kart shit. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm like not a big fan of it. So I guess there's my criticisms on how I think the world design is being affected negatively by these utilities. Let's, I guess, a positive thing here, really positive about the tune break stuff and that, as I said earlier. I do like this building system where it looks like you're able to build out a road network. Really cool. I will say, though, it looks like most players are going to need blueprints, right? Because I know people struggle with that sort of.
Tapos na ba siya sa exploration?
She's not really anything special in terms of a visual design.
Masyadong ganda mong standard yung isang game na kailangan kung ano yung standard doon sa isang game. Ganon din lahat ng gacha. Wasak mundo, dapat wag na tayo. Di ba? Diyos ko. He wants the highway network, pero ayaw ng motor. Yeah, kung yung sabi ni Lirot na tawag dito, designed to be explored by the bike, ano naman? It's a new region na puro tech. Like, gusto lang pumunta ng space. But I think, wala namang wala kung gusto mong maglakad. Like, wala namang, sabi ko kanina, di ka naman madadamage kung maglalakad ka kung gusto mong bumaba, ng chest. Kung gusto mong mahirapan. But like, yeah, most of us want convenience and it's good that we have option na gawin yon, lalo na sa ating may mga trabaho, mga nag-aaral. And ang dami niyang di alam sa lore. Bakit nangyari to? Bakit ganyan? Kasi nga, nag-ano siya ng 2.2. Nag-stop siya 2.2. I mean, ako, sobrang nag-enjoy ako sa flight and super excited ako dito sa motor. So yeah, most of his points are parang ano lang, personal opinion niya lang. Di ko lang gusto to and di niya lang vibe, but without any knowledge about it. So yeah. But yeah, that's it for today's video. See ya.